enrolling into the new program.
And if you are thinking of January 1st, did I last read it's October, you will have to apply?
Right.
October 3rd.
Yeah, your application will have to be in. If you want to apply for the January 1, 2011 program, you got to have your application submitted by October. Or in, is it end of October, beginning of October?
End of October.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody done an analysis, even, you know, say take a company with about 50 employees, to go from the basic into the advanced program as far as cost?
We've actually, for all the people that we have, our clients, et cetera, we've got information on that. I think I owe you one that it shows where you are now, if you do the basic, if you do the advanced, and a premium estimate of what the value is.
We did an estimate on the premium savings, but we have not factored in the cost of how much the program, what the cost of the program
Yes,
would be.
that's what.
That's
The Bureau is still continuing the safety grant program, however, correct? That will
There's
cover
grant, yes.
parts of the cost of this program.
There's grant money available. The proviso for the grant money is it's first come, first served. And that was a little bit of a wake-up call for a number of companies because they applied for the grant money and then were told, we don't have any left. So I would recommend if you're going to go after the grant dollars, get at it. Yeah, get at it pretty quickly.
They just sent out the new sheet 2 days ago. If anybody subscribes to the e-news, get the new chart with the pricing.
Yes?
Excuse me, when you talk about the cost, it's just like the cost of the drug testing and the training of the employees and stuff like that. Bureau of Workers' Compensation is charging to be part of this program.
No, but you are going to incur some costs.
Okay, that's,
Unless you happen to be an expert in all those things and can do them yourself.
okay.
Oh, you know, let me make a comment about training as well. Well, actually two things. I want to talk about just briefly, real quickly, cost-benefit ratio and then training. And this has not been finalized. You can do a train-the-trainer program for your employees, but they have a pretty stringent time frame on how much training that person's going to have in order to come back to your company and then perform the training. You cannot do train the trainer for supervisory training. You cannot do that for supervisory training. And I think the thought process is because at that level of training, you want someone with either experience or credentials to conduct that level of training. You know, as a sidebar, maybe from a legal standpoint, you might care to comment on this. I've always looked at that as you need to evaluate what your liability is, I think, when you're doing a train-the-trainer program. You know, do you want to assume and contain that liability within your company to assure that your standard of care has been met by somebody doing, you know, an internal trainer doing the program for you? You know, something to consider. Would that be an accurate statement? Errors and omissions, liability?
It would be, although if your training of the trainer isn't up to standards, you may have some liability there also. I mean, depending on how well he's training the other ones.
Right.
You might consider, sending a few people out for outside training so that they can kind of match what they learned and expand their knowledge. Safety programs are really great business for the company. It's good for the employees. It helps with your workers' comp costs. There's really not a downside to doing it, even at least at the basic level.
Yeah, I agree.
You were going to talk about incentives. Yeah. Safety and fund, safety incentives.
Oh.
Monetary versus,
My interpretation of the strongest incentive you can give an employer is peer review. That they're recognized by their peers within the company, that they have been the person that's taken a step forward to do more above and beyond what anybody else has been willing to do. Now, if I can do something for you, like maybe a trip, a day off, a dinner out with your family, something for your kids, I particularly advocate that more than money. Yeah, I am not a big proponent of a monetary safety incentive. You know, I mean, you get to wear the badge of honor for the next 6 months because you're our safety person of the first quarter, or you're our safety person of the year. Your picture gets splashed up. I walk in your building, your picture's there because you're our safety person of the year. Company newsletter, front page. Everybody knows in that company, you're the person. You're the person that did it.
what about if the owner feels it's just your job? You know, it's just the people's job to be.
Well, you know what, there's an area truth to that. You know, safety, I'm not talking about the person that just does what they're supposed to do. I'm talking about the person that, you know, improvise, adapt, they go beyond. And you have to have a well-defined criteria of what constitutes going beyond. And that often becomes a discussion. Well, you know, when we were making a safety award, what did he do different? Nothing? And we've had some companies that haven't given out awards a particular year because nobody did stand out.
Do you prefer those versus the, you know, plant hasn't had an accident in X number of months, therefore everybody gets a coffee cup concept?
I personally don't like those because to me, that promotes not reporting accidents. I don't mind if you report it. I like that you report it because you know what? If you give me a problem, you've given me an opportunity to fix it. But if you don't report it, I can't address it. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that doesn't really hold true in our company. We do all of this. We do yes, we give you a dinner out with your family or a day off or whatever that we feel that a particular employee needs at that time. If he needs to, you know, do something with his kids and has had the opportunity, then we'll send him to play miniature golf for the day or whatever. But we also do the quarterly. We didn't have any accidents, and our employees are very positive.
They like it?
They are very positive. They think that, because then they know, hey, you know, because sometimes an accident gets reported. The only people that know there was an accident are the person who got hurt and the person they reported it to. It's not told to the whole company, hey, we had a big accident today. You know, it's just not done that way.
Yeah.
But this way the employees know, gee, you know, we all did what we were supposed to do the last 3 months. And they get rewarded for that. We either have a big company picnic or we handed out the 0 bars 1 month, you know, I mean, just different things. And they think it's really neat to get to do that. But I don't have any problem with people coming up and reporting an injury if it, you know, when it happens.
Right.
So if you keep it positive, it works both ways.
It depends on your culture. I remember many years ago having a client that gave away jackets or whatever for not having any lost time claims. And I will tell you, there are people that came back to work that probably shouldn't have because they didn't want to be the one to cost the jacket for their 100 other people in the plant. And as a good friend of mine likes to say, I can argue both sides of that as to whether that's good or not. So you kind of got to look at, but people will kill themselves for a coffee cup. It's unbelievable.
We have to look
Or
at
not kill themselves.
You have to look at
She said if that's all it takes, you gotta sign.
We're considered a manufacturing company, but we only have 32 employees. We are more like a big family. Everybody cares. If so-and-so doesn't show up for work, everybody is asking, are they sick? Did they get hurt? You know, was there an accident? You know, it's different with our company.
In the culture of your company, it works.
Right, as opposed to a company that has 300 or 400 employees. You know, you can't do that. You have to base it on your own, company, you know, whatever. But we're a tiny little company and everybody knows everybody. So we